This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hello everybody and welcome to show 112 of Aussie Mac Zone. And we're off to a great start. Got a bit of news this week just for a change again. So I just want to remind everybody that we are brought to you by athwebhosting.com.au. Remember, we've got Australian servers in Sydney, affordable and competitive plans, the famous 99.95% uptime, over 250 scripts installed with one click, including WordPress and Joomla and many, many more. We use the C panel, which is the industry standard user-friendly feature-rich control panel, and it's just from $5.95 per month when paid annually. So, and we're lucky enough tonight to have Garth with us. Jason may be along shortly, but Garth, how are you, mate?
I'm bloody awesome, Michael. How are you?
Very good, thanks, mate. I'll put up
That's
your little
good.
blue picture for you so everyone knows who I'm talking to on the video.
I'm bandwidth challenged in tonight.
Yeah.
I really need to shift houses so I can have some proper bandwidth.
Well, now we've got a really new communications focused Prime Minister. We might all get better bandwidth.
You never know. This is true. That you know, I don't know actually though. No matter how high the power and how high the will is,
Yes.
whether you can get bureaucracy to get moving or not is another question.
Yeah, very true.
You can have all the will in the world, but yeah, there's real world factors that still come into play, I think. Anyway,
Yes, mate.
let's not get political here.
So, iPhone numbers, that's the biggest news so far this week. Apple says that advance orders of its new iPhones are on pace to beat the 10 million units the previous version logged in their first weekend last year. A feat that analysts have attributed to the inclusion of sales from China, because if you remember last year, China was just delayed a little bit getting approval through their telecommunications industry.
Yeah, they were a little way off a couple of weeks, even maybe longer last year, weren't they?
Yeah, so it was
it'd be interesting to see the numbers of, in Australia or in US only in that market. What do the numbers compare?
Yeah, but I think they're not going to tell us, are they?
No, we're not going to get that level of detail, I don't think.
No.
But safe to say that they're doing okay. 10 million, I'd be happy.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
And but it was Apple's
of
choice of
interest in
not disclosing the specific number of advance orders it received for the new iPhones, which it did last year, that made some investors a little concerned.
Oh, well. Meh.
What can you say?
Investors, I don't know. We look at these, you hear these stories, you read the numbers, you think of it from a technology point of view, or from our point of view, whereas the investors have a completely different perspective.
Yes.
And it's that perspective can change company to company. We expect Apple to do this, we expect someone else to do that, and it doesn't matter that our expectations of Apple are higher than of another company. That's not the point. You guys make a crap load of money, so you better bloody continue to make a crap load of money, or we'll punish you.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think saying that we're in target to beat previous years is a fair call, and just about all the detail you really need, isn't it?
It is. And as long as they actually achieve that, then and I'm sure they already know the answer, don't they? Like, they know exactly how many they've sold. So,
to this point, yes, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Within the nearest 1,000 or so, anyway.
And they were rolling.
It's just insane numbers, really, isn't it?
It is.
It really is insane numbers compared to the rest of the industry.
Yeah. Just on one weekend.
For a single, and for a single product, a single, two two products, I guess, really. You know, the 6 and the 6 Plus, 6S and the 6S Plus.
Yeah.
Goodness me, it's going to take a little while to get your mouth around 6 plus S, 6S plus,
It's
plus
all
6S.
success, isn't it? Success.
Success.
Yeah.
I heard someone else say that. Yeah, success. That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But the good news, the extra good news was there wasn't any challenges for people that were doing the orders. Where last year, like I know I had a few little challenges when I was trying to do my order for the watch, for example. So when they got a lot of people online, they don't appear to be having any problems anymore. So they must have got this bandwidth thing sorted out at their end, because they.
Oh, don't be silly. They didn't get it sorted out. That means they didn't sell any. That's why I had no problems.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. There's no demand. No one was trying to do it. You know,
Yeah.
they couldn't possibly have got it right. Sorry.
Well,
I had to say it.
And they also made comment that they didn't have any problems broadcasting the last Apple event either. So, whereas
No,
they had some
mustn't have been that
prior to
anyone
as
was
well.
watching.
No
No
one was
interest.
watching it again. Yeah,
Yeah,
pouring.
no interest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seen Tim Cook once, you see him all the time, right?
Once you've seen him once, that's it. But no, it's good news all around, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're cleaning. You know, is this the fact that they've got two of this sort of really web infrastructure things right? Does that mean iCloud's getting more right as well?
Well,
Is
maybe that's why they bumped up
ability to do web infrastructure improving?
Yeah, maybe that's why they bumped up from what was it 20 gig to 50 gig for the base rate. So yeah, maybe that's
the 99¢.
Yeah.
I had a problem with that the other day. Actually, I was on the 20. I was paying for 20, and because of iCloud being a bit of a pest with my photos, I turned iCloud off on my Mac.
Yeah.
Then turned it back on, and it re-recognized my photo library. And because I already had, 12 gig of photos up there and 12 gig on my laptop, it looked at it and go, oh, you've now got 24. 20 gig's not enough. So it didn't. And, it's, if you want to continue, you're going to have to upgrade. So I had to go up to the 200 because that's the next step up. And of course, it's the same 12 gig of photos. It's just that. So that was, yeah, got me. And then a couple of days later, they go, okay, well, now you can have 50 for the same price. So,
yes.
So I'll once that actually comes into play, I'll drop my 200 back down to the 50.
Yeah, they realised that upset you, Garth, and they had to do something for you.
Yeah, that's it. It was all designed especially for me, I'm sure.
Absolutely. So,
but and back to what you were actually saying there around the pricing there, that I think the 99 cents for 50 gig is going to be enough for 99% of people who are mostly using iCloud at this stage for their photo library.
Yeah, I know it is a challenge. So we've got story number 2, which is the Apple TV. So we've got VLC and Plex are making apps coming to the new Apple TV and are expected to be officially allowed to be on there. Expected to be?
I wonder where the expectation has come from. Once again, I would say tech writers who want it to be true. Which is, if that means we're putting a little bit of subtle pressure on Apple to make sure that they do let those apps through, then all the better.
Yeah. Well,
General
VLC's
expectation
been on the phone,
that,
hasn't it? Hasn't VLC been on the phone, but you had to load the videos?
Yes, I have VLC. I don't think I've hardly ever needed to use it.
Yeah.
No, I think there's a web, how it does the local web browser type thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I think you can use it that way. I think it can probably link to Dropbox. I can't remember. But VLC is pretty richly featured on the iPhone. Plex, I don't know, is there an official iOS Plex app currently? I don't think so.
I don't think so, no.
The jailbreak, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but they're the perfect kind of apps that you'd want to see on your Apple TV, aren't they?
And that's going to ruin the price for those Apple TV version 2s that you could jailbreak still, because they're still getting good money because you can jailbreak them. So if
Yeah, I
Plex
don't know
gets
if
an
that'll ruin
official
the
app,
price though. There's still a lot more stuff that people do with those, isn't there?
I don't know, mate. I've stopped
Yeah.
jailbreaking. I couldn't find any use for it.
Yeah,
So.
me too. I never. I don't really see the need anymore.
We've got a
I
million
think.
something apps. Why do I need a jailbreak? And introduce all those hassles, you know?
Yeah, I think in Australia we're pretty lucky that all our telcos do the data. What do you call? The high Wi-Fi hotspot as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas in the US, I think that was probably a large part of why people jailbroke
yeah.
in the
True.
early days. Was they wanted to free up that data they had on their phones,
So
or
they
at
wouldn't
least
get ripped off.
yeah. So I think we're a little bit lucky here in Australia in that respect. And talking about being lucky here in Australia, one other thing that came to light after the announcement was that the Siri feature on the Apple TV is only available in 8 countries at launch.
Mm-hmm.
And thank goodness Australia is one of those 8 countries.
So we are special.
We are. Well, we've been special for quite some time. I think and luckily, for our population, it's. I'm sort of glad Apple has always included us in the first tier release for pretty much all of their products in the last 4 or 5 years, anyway.
Yeah. I think that's because of the high uptake we've always had for Apple stuff, but I'm hoping.
Yeah.
That's
but when
how
you
I make
think
my
our
living, so
population,
it's important to me.
sorry.
That's how I make my living, so it's important to me.
Yes. But when you think our population is probably, a fraction of what California's population is, that well, similar anyway. I can't, but So it's good that we always get that first tier release, and in this case, the Siri. So another reason for another sort of dodgy reason for New Zealanders to move over.
Over to the West Island, as
Exactly.
they call us. Yeah.
The far west. Yeah.
So also coming to Apple TV, we've got Activision are releasing three games at launch, basically. Guitar Hero, I think that's October 2015. So you've got a Bluetooth guitar to start playing the games, and I think there's 6 new songs coming as well.
Okay.
So
I know I've never been into the old Guitar Hero, but it's good that clearly Apple have been working with a few key developers like usual, making sure that there's a few games and a few things ready to go right off the bat.
Well, because this new Guitar Hero, Apple will be out before it'll be on the Apple before it's on the Xbox and the Sony PlayStation.
Well, there's a little bit of a scoop for them, I guess. Yeah.
And
there's been a lot of talk about whether or not the big, or mid to big game developers will really make use, is that the right word? Will really come to the party and develop for Apple TV.
Yeah.
So at least there's some decent indication that moving forward that will happen.
If they sell an amazing amount of Apple TVs, that'll just mean that they have to come, because otherwise they're losing money, aren't they? The game developer.
Yeah. Well, that's right. And initially I think there was a lot of concern, I guess, around the 200 meg limit that is initially there on apps when they first download, and I think that was probably overblown a little bit. So people were worried that they weren't going to be able to bring their Unity engines and the engine that Epic uses, to the platform, because they were too big. But it turns out that was not as much of a problem as initially
thought. That's
overreacted to.
Yeah. So I've got story number 3. So we've got Apple responds to the iPhone 6s privacy concerns over always on Siri and the live photos. So this is where, say, for live photos, because it's actually recording a second and a half before and after the photo's actually taken, they're worried about things being seen or said that wouldn't have expected to be in a photo. But you got to remember, it's a second and a half from when you press the button now when you take a photo. It takes a fraction of a second to actually take the photo anyway. It doesn't necessarily go bang, push the button, bang, there's the photo. And that's where the second and a half lag is anyway. So,
well, yeah, no, yeah. I'm not sure about that part of it.
yeah.
Look, I think this is one of those, a clickbait sort of headline, trying to wind up a bit of story when there is no story really. But I think what's going to be happening is it will be caching that second and a half. And one of the things that we've heard with this new phone is that delay from clicking the button to having the photo taken has been reduced even more.
Yeah.
And I noticed from remembering my iPhone 4, it felt like the race I was trying to take a photo of could be over by the time it actually took a photo. It was, and that's been a problem with digital cameras right from dot one, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The amount of time it takes to actually take a photo. And I think with the iPhone 6 even, that's drastically improved. And apparently with the 6S, that's improved even more. So because it always has been, like the sensor with an iPhone, with any digital camera, that sensor is there running all the time that you're in the camera app. Well, that's how you're actually seeing the preview on the screen. You hold up how do you tell what you're going to take a photo of? Well, the sensor's there capturing it all the time.
That's right.
And the only real difference here is that the buffer, there's a bit of a buffer there. Instead of throwing away that data as soon as it displays it to you on the screen, it keeps the last second and a half.
Yeah.
So as soon as you click that button, it goes, okay, we'll keep the last second and a half, plus we'll capture the next second and a half, and we'll combine that into the data of that photo.
Yeah.
So it's just ridiculous. And then there was, on the same token, on the same sort of inverted commas privacy issues story headline, we had the Hey Siri stuff, didn't we?
Yeah, where it's continually listening to everything that I say and storing it away so someone can use it against me later. But it's
bloody ridiculous.
The 6S will only store a few seconds of sound at a time and will continually write over, and therefore theoretically delete what has been captured before it. So it's not really listening to everything I say, is it?
Not at all. Well, it is. It is constantly listening. It just doesn't remember it. It doesn't care. Right. And it stays on the device unless you share it off the device.
Yeah, and even when I actually ask Siri to do something, I want it to actually listen to what I'm saying, don't I?
Exactly. Well, that's kind of the point, isn't it?
Like
listen to what I say and work out what I mean. That's the point. It's like it's so ridiculous. And the good part of Siri at its basic at the moment, for it to recognize what you're saying, it sends the content off device. It does send it off the device. It goes up to Apple. They do the speech recognition and send you back the commands that you need or whatever.
Yeah.
And with Hey Siri, it's not actually doing that until it recognizes the Hey Siri. Yeah. So it is constantly listening. And when it hears you say, Hey Siri, it does that speech recognition on the device. And only at that point it sends it to the cloud to work out what your command, what your desire, what you feel like Siri, what you want Siri to do for you today.
Yes.
It's only once the device has recognized that you've uttered that command.
And doesn't it apply for everything? Because, like, I'm sure my wife, even though it happens in the background, like when I say, hey, darling, she says, what do you want? Like, that's the same thing, isn't it? She's always listening, whether I'm talking to her or not.
Yeah, but you've got to remember, she's in your home. She's not in the cloud.
So I still get into trouble. So
yeah, that's right. Imagine if she was in the cloud. Then how much trouble you'd be in then. I just on that topic while we're talking about Hey Siri, clues in iOS 9.1, and I need to actually do the setup. But when you go and turn on Hey Siri now, you actually go through a little tutorial where it recognizes or it attempts to recognize your voice individually.
Okay. Yeah.
So that you have to manually go and turn on Hey Siri, and when you do that, you go through this little tutorial. It'll get you to say Hey Siri a few times, I guess, and it will learn your voice
as opposed to
your wife's.
Says Hey Siri to her.
So
phone.
when she forgets what your name is and thinks, oh, he's just that guy who likes Apple stuff and calls you Siri.
Yeah.
So when she yells out Hey Siri, meaning Michael,
yeah,
you'll your phone won't respond. It won't be listening.
There you go. And
at
therefore,
least that's
when
the
we
theory.
say "Hey Siri" all these times when we're doing our podcast, it won't be upsetting everybody's phone in the audience.
No, that's right. Exactly. Hey Siri.
Hey Siri, vote for Aussie Max Zone. Give us a review.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't understand your request. Check in later, maybe. Another nice feature of another sort of reason why you may wish, well, a very small one, but another little reason you may wish to upgrade to a 6S or a 6S Plus is that Hey Siri will be available at all times. You don't have to have it, just when it's plugged in.
Yeah, that is a big thing, isn't it? Because I've actually done that in the car where I've gone, Hey Siri, and then realised, oh, I haven't got it plugged in this time.
I never use Hey Siri. I rarely ever use it, simply because my phone's plugged in at night, and because the battery life is pretty good, I never sort of leave it plugged in. It's in my pocket, so.
Yeah.
I
just
think
holding
having
the button
that,
down is very easy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. But I think if you once you had that facility to be able to just say Hey Siri at any stage,
and just start using it more often.
Yeah, you might find the uptake is there then.
Like, just on that, like I have two phones, and one has fingerprint recognition, and one doesn't. And I'm forever picking up the older phone and holding my thumb there, waiting for something to happen. It's so annoying. You go, oh bugger! Just
Wait as you
and
might,
put the
nothing ever happens.
So yeah, we've just
still
got to catch up.
Put in your password.
So yeah. So I've just got to remember to also our friends at Aussie Tech Heads. We're just going to promote their podcast. They're on Thursday nights. Always nice to listen to. And you can also catch up with Aussie Tech Heads, Aussie Max Zone, and a whole heap of Australian and New Zealand podcasts on the Aussie Tech Head radio station. So if you just look that up in iTunes, and I'm sure you'll be amazed to just sit there and listen to it. It's very good.
Yes, indeed.
So a bit of fun now. We've got iOS 9.1 will let you let people send the middle finger emoji. So apparently it got approved 15 months ago, and
okay,
it was a bit unexpected to appear on Apple's platform, but there's some other emojis like a burrito and a taco apparently coming to us.
Well, if they're going to officially support that one, I want the peace sign. What is it? Live long and prosper. I know it's sort of back end supported, but why not have it actually in there as one you can choose, and you don't have to go through this workaround? If you're going to get the middle finger, give us live long and prosper. Come on.
Exactly right.
I think it was it macOS Ken? Another great podcast. If people who listen to this aren't listening to it, it's worth checking out. And he said something along the lines of, I think it's fantastic. It's going to save me so much time, but just won't be quite as personal as in the past where I had to actually take a photo of myself giving the finger and sending that.
Slipping that birdie in.
Yeah. So, a bit sad that it won't be as personal anymore.
Yes. So, what else? You got any other special news you want to drop in, my friend?
No, I don't think so. I think there was a interesting little article people at this stage in the year and the iPhone cycle might want to check out in Gizmodo. or it's sort of time, I guess, for everyone to do their sums and look around and see which telco might be able to give them the best deal on a new phone. So there's a quick comparison in Gizmodo
Yeah.
that people could check out.
I think SMH, Sydney Morning Herald, smh.com.au had one today too, which is lists all the pricing for all of the telcos when you want to get your phone, and there's some weird pricing out there.
There is some weird pricing out there.
But, whether you want 120 minutes international calls or you don't want 120 minutes of international calls, and whether you want insurance or not insurance, and goes
Yeah, and people always want a simple answer to these questions. Okay, what's the best plan? What's the best deal?
Yeah.
And
they don't want to tell you.
it really is what's the best deal for you and how you want to use the device.
Yeah.
So you really have to understand, what your own needs are and what's important to you, and take that when you have that in mind when you're looking for these deals, because the cheapest plan is almost never the best plan. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
It's making sure you remember to look for what's best for you.
Yeah. So I think we've covered everything this week, my friend.
I think that's a show.
Yes. All right. Well, you have fun, and I'll talk to you again
I
next
will.
week, I hope.
Yeah. All right, Michael.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you, dear listener.
Yeah.
Jump on iTunes, give us a rating,
Yes, please.
and don't forget to check out ATH Web Hosting.
Yes, mate. We'll have another great time next week, won't we? There's our ATH
11.3.
Web Hosting ad back up again. Yeah. I'm sure we'll have some more stories again next week.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
All right, mate. Good night.